Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite things, selling art online. A lot of artists always ask me about strategies and tools to upload and sell their art online, and we're going to be covering this today. We're going to cover 3 strategies that you can use to sell your art online, as well as the steps that you should take before and after selling art online. So let's go straight into it. First off, I just wanted to introduce myself. If you're here, you probably came across some of my content. I'm Stefan Van Quick. I'm an artist and an art consultant based in Berlin. I develop content, text, videos, and tools for artists to promote their art online and sell it and get more exhibitions and work with dealers. This is all the strategies that I have implemented over the last 8 years as a professional artist that got me mentions in magazines, exhibitions all across the world, and the possibility to sell my art through galleries and through myself. So I have like a double stream of income as an artist, and that's very important for me to finance bigger projects and exhibitions. So, selling art online. If you have a lot of artist friends in your community, you might know about some artists that achieve a success selling their artwork online. And it's the strategies we're going to be presenting here can be adapted to whatever type of art you do. If I ever mention painting, it's just because I'm a painter myself, so it's easier to use those terms. But it could be applied to photography, sculpture, digital art. It just might need a little bit of adjusting depending on your specific art career. What we're going to be covering first is what we call the pre-game, which is the strategies and tools that you have to have in place before even starting to sell art online. This preparation is very important because once you start selling online, it's very easy to get lost on which artworks are available or which have been sold or which are being exhibited. So having your art career very organized from day one is crucial if you really want to take that step and become a full-time professional artist. So the first thing is that we're going to start is know your product and set up an inventory. You're the artist, so you're very familiar with your work. You should know what type of artwork you're going to be selling online. Is it photography? Are you going to be framing that photography, or are you going to sell it just as an individual photography and the client frames it on his side? Is it sculpture? Is it limited editions, original art, merchandising? You really have to have a clear idea of what your product is as an artist in order to start selling it online. So take your time and really look into your artwork and see what is this product that you're wanting to sell online. After you have a clear idea of what artwork you're going to be selling online, it's time to do an inventory. It might sound super boring, and trust me, it is, but it's very important for you to have an Excel sheet about all the artworks that you have available and their prices, their technique, and description. Because if you're going to have to upload these artworks to several online galleries, it's much easier if you have all your information in one place. Second thing that we have to have in mind when selling art online is the storytelling. Nobody is going to just stumble upon your artwork, find it pretty, and buy it straight away. So you need to give a full idea of what this artwork is. The best way to do this is by telling the story of the artwork. What were you feeling when you developed this artwork? What is the inspiration? Has this artwork been exhibited in galleries? Is it a unique artwork? Is it part of a series? Really tell the story, sell the artwork, because nobody's just going to buy a pretty picture that they see online. The tools that you can use for showing and telling the story of your artwork, text. Have a very clear description of the artwork, or of the story of the artwork. Think that these people never saw the artwork in person, so the text that you put with this artwork is crucial to convey the story and about the artwork. Another very important fact is to have images of these artworks. You need quality images. You need one picture of the artwork by itself, then the details of the artwork, maybe the signature, your signature as an artist, and maybe the back of the artwork so the client knows how he's going to hang this artwork. Be very clean with these pictures, avoid backgrounds, with the exception if you add in situ artwork, which would be artwork in a living room or a kitchen in a nice ambiance, so the client can have a little bit of imagination of what this artwork is going to look in his house. If you don't have a nice place to hang your artworks, it could be also a good idea to do mock-ups in Photoshop, where you just download the image of a nice looking living room and with Photoshop add your artwork on top of that. This tool is a very good strategy to really help the collector imagine the artwork in his house. Let's talk a little bit about the second leg of this pre-game phase, promotion. People need to know who you are in order to buy your artwork. They need to be familiar with some degree of your career. They need to know where you come from, what's your story, have you studied. So it's crucial for you to get some promotion about you as an artist. One of the easiest tools and the one that you should be using from day zero is social media. I'm not here to convince you that you should be using social media. As an artist, you need it. It's a very good tool to promote your artwork, connect with new artists, collectors, you name it. So you should have a social media presence. As a visual artist, the most common one you should have is Instagram. It's one of the best places for artists right now. And it gives you the possibility to connect with a wide array of collectors and new artists and just get inspired, as well as having people discover your artwork. So social media is crucial for this. The second part of your promotional efforts should be proper PR. Get your artwork named in magazines and blogs. You should do a little bit of research about what magazines and blogs cover artwork similar to yours, and send the director or the writer of these magazines an email explaining who you are and if they have the interest in doing article or an interview with you, so you can tell them a little bit about your artwork. It's very important to always contact magazines that kind of focus on the same artwork as you do, or else you're just wasting everybody's time. If you're a sculptor and you contact a black and white photography blog, it makes no sense and it just feels like you didn't do your research. Another very good opportunity is exhibitions, offline exhibitions, where you have a chance to meet people and collectors and other artists and connect with them afterwards on social media or email. It's very important that you have some sort of newsletter or blog telling a little bit about what's going on with your career as an artist, so you can tell people if you have a new exhibition coming up or you're working in a new series. So that's a little bit about what you should be focusing on phase one, the pre-game. You should have your inventory in place alongside of a very clear idea of what is this product that you're going to be selling. Afterwards, you have to figure out the story of this product, the images, the text, the video that goes with this product, in order to breach the link between a collector that has never seen this artwork in person and a buyer. So you should use text and image and video to help the client imagine your artwork in his house. And then you should be focusing on the third part in promotion, which is getting your story out there, connecting with people on social media, writing to magazines and blogs, getting exhibition, basically telling the world the story about you and your artwork. Now we're going to focus a little bit on the second phase, which is how to actually sell that artwork online. What kind of tools, strategies, online galleries are we going to be using? I'm going to be presenting 3 strategies here. So some of these might not fit all artists, but you can adjust either of these to your practice, whatever suits better your career. So the first strategy that we're going to be covering is online galleries. These are very large websites that upload the artworks of several artists where they are for sale online. So they focus on acquiring new artists to sell and at the same time connecting with a collector base that will be purchasing these artworks. There are a lot of online galleries that you can upload your artwork to. The quality of the websites varies a lot. I have a list of over 150 online galleries rated with how well I think they work. Obviously I haven't tried all of them, but I do have a list of 15 online art galleries that I do believe work and are worth uploading your artworks there. Some of these online galleries are huge. Saatchi, for example, has 160,000 artists uploading their artwork. So it might be a little bit hard to gain visibility with these many artists online. Your artwork might get lost inside of it. So it's very important for you to really focus on promotion if you want to sell this artwork on these platforms. It's very rare that a collector will just stumble upon your artwork and decide to buy it. Just because the sheer amount of artworks available makes the clients a little bit lost. So you should really focus on promotion. A good strategy for this could be connecting with the marketing team of some of these platforms and providing them with interviews or articles regarding your art for them to publish on their platforms to their clients. This will ensure you to get a little bit more visibility within the community of the website. Another thing that you should be very considerate about is the terms and conditions that these websites require. What kind of rights would they have over your image? What is the commission that you're going to be selling these artworks on? Who covers shipping? What happens if an artwork gets damaged? Really dive into what are the terms of this collaboration with this website and figure out if it's a good fit for you. And finally, the shipping costs. You should be very aware of who covers the shipping costs and be sure to include them into your pricing. It might be unclear with some of these websites on which are the costs of shipping that the collector must add to the value. So have a good look into the shipping terms of these online galleries. These terms and shipping costs vary from platform to platform, so if you're going to be working with 2 or 3 online galleries, be sure to find the terms and shipping costs for all the galleries that you're going to be working with. The second strategy I want to be covering today is print on demand. Print on demand is basically your artwork printed on t-shirts or mugs or posters and shipped directly to your client when they order it. So this is a very good strategy because it allows you to not invest in inventory. You don't have to print 100 posters before selling them. Each time the client buys your poster, they produce the amount of copies that were purchased and send it directly to the client without any hassle on your side. The client will be paying a price and the cost of production and shipping will get deducted, and what remains is your profit. This is a very good strategy to align with fine art, for example. You can sell the original painting at a higher price while you offer merchandising such as posters or t-shirts of the same artwork at a lower price and larger quantity. It's very important that if you're going to be working with print on demand to be very attentive of the quality of the product. There's a lot of print on demand providers available, but you should order a couple of examples of your product before ordering them so you can be sure that the quality is high enough to send to your clients. You don't want them getting an ugly t-shirt with your artwork because it's just going to burn your career, it's just going to burn your reputation as an artist. So be very careful about the quality of these products that you're sending them. Always order a couple of examples before sending them. Another thing to have in consideration when working with print on demand is the time frame. Some of these print-on-demand companies have their printers located in the UK or in China or in the US, so it's very important for you to calculate the shipping times and give a correct estimate for your clients when they're buying your products. And finally, what I want to talk a little bit about is limited editions. If you're going to be working with print-on-demand and offering a lot of copies of your artwork, it might lower a little bit the market value of your artwork. So maybe instead of offering infinite prints, you could limit that to a number as 25 or 50 to create a sense of exclusivity regarding your prints and your artwork itself. The third strategy I want to cover for selling art online would be personal sales. You know, this is the people that you've been networking with you have met in galleries, online, offline, that you met in forums, you know, all these people that are somehow connected to you, they should start to get aware about the fact that you're a professional artist and that you're selling your artworks. It's very common for me as a designer as well to sell some of the artworks to my clients and stuff like that, just by the fact that they know me, they know the artwork that I produce, and that generates some sort of an interest of them into my art practice. You should balance somewhat of online and offline efforts. You should be going to a lot of galleries, openings, art fairs, and really connecting with people, getting to know the people. The artwork is a very social place, so you should be meeting new people and talking to people on a regular basis. These people you should afterwards you should connect with these people online and maybe redirect them to your blog or your online shop, as well as to your social media, so they can get aware of what you're doing if you have a new exhibition coming up. This is a slow strategy, this is a long-term plan, connecting with new people and slowly awakening their interest into art and especially your art practice as well, maybe buying an artwork from you. I think it's very important for you to focus on creating new collectors, meeting new people and awakening their interest into art, into the art world, into your art, of course, and slowly educating these people that the artworks are for sale, that in many cases they're very affordable artworks, and that by buying artworks for themselves or as presents for loved ones, they will be, as well as giving a very original gift, helping an artist grow his career. And a lot of people are very sensitive to this idea. They're very interested in helping artists develop their careers and might become clients, long-term clients of yours. So be very attentive of meeting new people, about showing what you're doing, always in a very genuine and not being spammy. And you might be developing a new collector base that you never imagined. Now I want to talk a little bit about what happens after you sell art, because if you've been following the steps that we just covered, you will eventually start doing your first, second, third sale. So it's very important to know what are the points that you should be covering after somebody buys your art, Isn't that what you wanted? Let's first off, kind of boring part, but packing. You should pack your artwork to send to your client. If you follow the steps, by now you have a very clear idea of what your artwork is, what your product is. This would mean that you're very familiar on the packaging that it might need. This varies from artwork to artwork, but if you're selling canvases or posters or framed artworks, you should pack them with a sheet of styrofoam, with some wood, ensuring that these artworks don't get damaged on the way to the client. It's very frustrating for a client to get an artwork that has been damaged. It happened to me. And it's double hassle because you have to get that artwork back, reframe it, re-ship it, repack it, and send it over to the client once again. You lose time, you lose money, so being sure that your artwork is properly packed for shipping will save you a lot of time if it doesn't get damaged. If you're shipping framed artworks, it might be a good idea to work with acrylic rather than glass. It's a little bit more resistant and lighter. The only thing is when working with acrylic frames, they can get scratched very easily, so be sure to put a foil. If you're working maybe with sculptures, you might need to build some sort of custom crate so you can ensure that the artwork gets delivered without damage. And if you're sending unframed artworks, they could be rolled up or put in a sturdy envelope. When packing your artwork, it's also a very good idea to think about the materials that you're going to be using, because most of the shipping companies charge your shipping by weight. So it might be a good idea to invest in lighter materials such as plywood or styrofoam when packing your artworks. That way you can ensure a lower shipping rate. Let's talk a little bit about shipping now. When you sell an artwork, it's very important for the artwork to arrive to the client. So doing your shipping and working with trustworthy companies, it's very important to ensure that the artwork actually arrives to the client. Once you start doing a lot of shippings, you will get familiar about what shipping companies have a better deal for each area. But at the beginning, you will need to do a very sturdy research each time that you send a new artwork. Be very careful of calculating calculating the shipping of the artwork beforehand closing the deal, because it might be that there's an unexpected shipping costs. It happened to me, for example, once that the client said that his artwork was being shipped to France, which from Berlin is a very, very cheap shipping cost, but it was actually being shipped to the island of Reunion, which is a French territory on the coast of Africa, which implied a very, very, very higher shipping cost, and it cut into my part of the profits, of the artwork's profits. So it never hurts to really do your research and save unpleasant surprises. And the last thing I want to talk a little bit about the post-sales is building a collector base. You know, building relationships with these people that bought your artwork. A lot of art buyers are very interested in what's going on with your career as an artist. Do you have new exhibitions coming up? Do you have important sales? Have you been to art fairs? Since they bought this artwork from you, they are very interested in your art career. So keep them informed, create a newsletter where these collectors can connect and get the news about what's going on in your career. You can also contact them after a purchase to see how they're feeling with the artwork, what's their feeling, if they could send you a picture of this artwork hanging in their houses. It's just a game of building relationships and keeping these people in your close circle, because you never know. It's very common for collectors to get interested in their arts, or in their artists, and buy new artworks in the future when you develop a new series or you have a nice artwork that would match the one previous bought. But this is only possible if you maintain a connection and an information loop with these collectors. So keep them informed and send them an email every now and then, just keep them on the loop. So that is a little bit of the before, during, and after of selling art online. It's basically, in the beginning you should be working on your pre-game. That's inventory, that's storytelling, and that is promotion. Those three will ensure that you have all the tools in place for selling art. Afterwards, you should choose your strategy. Are you going to sell through online galleries? Or are you going to print your artwork into merchandising? Or maybe you're going to focus on your networking and creating your network of own collectors. Those three can be combined, or you can choose one of the strategies that fits better your career. On the other hand, after you start selling art, we should be focusing a little bit about the post-sale process. That would be packing your artwork so it doesn't get damaged and it arrives properly to your collector. That would be calculating the shipping costs, and that would be creating a network from these collectors that have previously bought from you. Those are a little bit the strategies I use myself to maintain my art career online. And there's more content about what we've been talking. If you're going to focus your promotional efforts on Instagram, we're just finishing up Instagram handbook for artists, and the link is going to be on the bottom. Also, there's a longer version of this course with 4 videos and content and tools and templates for you to use for your career. So if you want a little bit more of that, I will be sending you 5 emails that tell you a little bit about how I implemented these strategies to sell more art online. So I hope you enjoyed that, and you'll be hearing more from me. If you're interested, I upload weekly tips on my Instagram about how to sell art online, how to promote your artwork, how to deal with galleries, and maybe you should check that out too.